This is Off Track.
Well, we just had to cut the first minute 17 of this episode because Tim thinks he's funny, which for the umpteenth time we've established he is not. But welcome to Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. Rossi breathing heavily into the microphone as he does. I just love making work for Tim. Scratch your beard on it. I can't do it on this one. Do the beard scratch. He hates that.
Not in a mood.
Oh no, are you in a bad mood?
I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just a little bit. I'm a little indifferent about this show today, but that's fine. Mostly because I feel like we're gonna really struggle to find things to talk about. But that's not for you guys to worry about.
We'll get to Nashville next week, but
before we focus on not having enough stuff to talk about,
right?
What model iPhone do you guys have?
Ooh, I don't know.
Okay, let's ask this an easier way. Is your silence switch still a switch, or is it now a button?
Switch.
The button.
Okay, so you've upgraded to the button, Alex. You still have the switch.
Yes.
I'm gonna urge you as strongly as I can to never upgrade your iPhone for the rest of time, unless they bring back the switch, because the silence button is the dumbest thing that I think iPhone's ever done.
Interesting.
Okay. You can put your hand into your pocket and silence your iPhone with the switch, and because you know that the switch this direction is silent and this direction is not silent. It also vibrates in a fun way when it's silent, right? The button.
What makes it fun?
It does because it's a click, like it's a satisfying, right? Like it's right.
Yeah.
Now the new ones just have like a button that vibrates on both silencing and not silencing.
So
if you
I'll never change.
It vibrates a lot more on silence.
No, it's a built-in fidget spinner for me. Do you like that sound, Tim?
Oh yeah.
Like I'll never. I've actually had to get a new one because I've broken off the switch.
Yeah, you're gonna hate the new phone.
Well, I won't do it. Then. That's really good to know. Yeah.
Does it vibrate more on silent or on loud?
It vibrates more when you go to silent.
Right. So why does it vibrate? Here's the thing. It's confusing.
It's like an acknowledgement of receipt, little buzz, just letting you know, hey, you hit it, you got it,
right,
you're good.
But then it also
it's like, oh, you're silent, then it's
it's not differentiated enough, and it's harder to remember which is which. Also, if you turn your phone off and then turn it back on, you have to do it again. I don't think it remembers what position it was in because it's not a real position. It's just a stupid button. And you can click it once and you don't hold it for enough. And so it doesn't go. Where I always knew 100% that my phone was on silent with the switch.
So speaking of iPhone, are we just going to continue? I think we touched on this before. Are we just going to go for numbers forever? Like the new one that came out is the iPhone 17. Are we going to at one point be at the iPhone 136? Like, is it just...
Honestly, I would rather that than trying to come up with clever names for everyone.
Okay.
Because 30 years from now, what are we going to... there's only so many
Society's going to have collapsed long by then.
That is true.
There's not going to be iPhones in 30 years.
AI will have rendered us all useless and taken over the world. Wait, have you guys seen the new Meta glasses with the hand switch thing and the heads up display and the lens and everything? Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Dude, so it's like those Ray-Ban Meta glasses with the cameras and stuff, but now there's a heads up display on the lens and you wear a Whoop style wristband and you can do hand movements to control messages, maps.
So it's augmented reality,
yes,
at your fingertips now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it actually works or not, but in theory, it's trippy.
I don't know. I still think the greatest technology innovation
was the automobile.
Nintendo 64.
when you get verification codes sent to your phone, it automatically copies it, so you just have to hit paste and it goes in.
Absolutely a game changer. That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's the greatest thing
all this AI augmented reality. Yeah, exactly, without a doubt. And the shake to unsend an email. That's pretty cool.
You could do
that.
Yeah, it's
cool. Not as cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can shake.
I didn't know you could do that.
And then you can shake. You have to do it within 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. So if you hit send and then in 90 seconds, 2 minutes, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. If you shake it, it'll take it back.
So what does that mean, though? Does that mean that they're waiting 2 minutes to send my email?
Yes.
Basically.
Huh.
They're not pulling it back from an inbox if it already got to someone.
So they're just
it goes into an email purgatory for a second or 2 minutes.
I don't know if I like that. When I send my
Well,
email,
look.
I want it sent.
Here's the thing: if it's
It
an
might save you
urgent
one day.
matter to the point of 2 minutes being the difference, you should not be
probably pick up
emailing
the phone.
somebody. You should
Yeah.
have a phone call. At the very laziest, a text message.
Good point.
What if it's like a deadline thing? Like if somebody's got to turn in a paper by midnight and they send it at
Well, then
11:59,
you know it
and they're
needs to be
like,
turned
haha,
in
I
by.
made it.
You need to know it needs to be
that's-
turned in by 11:57.
I don't like that.
No one
I'm against it.
asked you.
All right. Clearly.
Well, let's undo that undo feature for Tim, as long as we can bring back the switch for the doohickey majigger.
I sent you guys what I saw. Apparently, it was only news to me. Everybody else had already seen it. That like they're doing the live translate in your AirPods
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, it's way more helpful if the person you're talking to also has AirPods in and
Yeah.
is doing the same thing, or else it's a very one-sided conversation.
I saw a pretty funny, I don't even know if it's a meme, but reaction to this announcement. And it was like, nail salons are going to be very different now because you're going to be able to hear what the
I did
people
see
are
that.
saying.
I did see that. Yeah. I did see that.
The nail techs are saying, yeah, when they're speaking their language.
Now, on that translation note, so when we were just in France at the Canada house that I was telling you guys about last time, the wonderful woman who owns the place, she spoke decent English, much better than my French, but like wanted to tell certain stories at a level and into a detail that she was not comfortable doing in English. So I brought up like the Google Translate app, and it was phenomenal. Like I would hit it, she would talk, tell a story, 2-3 minutes long. It would transcribe the whole thing. I could then relay it to the rest of the group, and it was like spot on accurate. And then it was also really cool because I wanted to make sure that I could go back and sort of transcribe that conversation or like pick out some of the points to like make sure that everybody that was there had some sort of record of it. And you're going to save the entire transcript of the conversation. So that's been a super helpful app. And like even just traveling to all these weird places, like taking a picture of a menu and having it just instantly be translated. Very helpful when you're in a country whose language you don't speak. Because like I think I was mentioning this when I got off the plane in Hungary in August. It was the first time I've ever gotten off the plane in a country where I knew literally 0 words of the language. Not a single one. And it happened again last weekend. I don't know a single word in Azerbaijani.
Do you guys think anybody's ever actually learned a language using Duolingo?
It's a great question.
I feel like no.
I'm going to assume they learned enough that once they were immersed in the place, they could start to actually pick up enough to become fluent. I don't think you could.
I do my Duolingo every day because I have Hazel does it and my mom and she does it, and we all just try to compete on who can do it first, because then you get to nudge the others and be like, hey, do your Duolingo. Like there's an option in the app that says nudge them to like annoy them for not doing it. So I purely do it for that reason, to annoy Hazel and my mom. But like I've been doing it for a year and a half now with Spanish, and I don't know how to say I've been doing Duolingo in Spanish.
What do you know how to say?
Very little.
Yeah.
It's not a ringing
Set a
endorsement.
stone.
But I don't know if I want to actually learn the language. I think I just like the app.
So you know this about me. I'm not a soup guy,
Okay.
right? I'm not a big soup guy. There's like one kind of soup that I like, and even then I don't love it. I just I'll
Clam
do
chowder, right?
It's not clam chowder. It's not French onion. It's chicken tortilla.
Okay, we can all agree he's wrong.
Definitely wrong, because that's not even like in the top 5 soups.
No.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's top
French
10
onion.
soup.
Top 10?
It's not top 10 soup.
It's a top 10 soup. Chicken tortilla is a
No,
top
it's
10
not.
soup.
It
Every
is
day
not
of the
even.
week, every state
It might not
in
even
the
be top
union.
15. No,
You can't even name
The
15
cream-
soups, bro.
sure can. Yeah,
Let's
sure
go.
can.
Right
French
now.
onion, definitely.
No, hold on.
Lobster
Hold on,
bisque.
Tim. Stop. No,
Oh.
don't help him. Let's hear 15 soups.
But I agree with him.
No one
Okay.
cares.
French onion, tomato basil, lobster bisque, clam chowder, chili.
Oh, no,
potato-
I'm not giving you chili as a
Potato-
soup. No, I'm not giving you chili
Why?
as a soup. Because it's not a soup, it's a stew.
More a collection
it's a chili. It's its own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Leek and potato,
Okay.
bean.
That's 5.
Bean was 6.
leek and potato, bean.
You're missing some good ones.
Only 9 to go, bro. Tim, say
I
nothing.
mean,
okay.
No, Tim.
I
bite
want
your
to say
tongue.
so many.
Okay.
Bite
Well, okay.
your
But
You
Fine,
haven't even gotten to
fine.
a continent yet. There's a continent of other soups that you're missing. A really
French
big
onion
continent.
soups.
Okay. I mean, all right. I named
Any
six
of the
soups,
Asian soups. You could
but like,
hot
miso
and sour
soup.
miso. Come on.
Yeah. Egg drop soup. I don't like hot and sour soup. All right, I'm at 8. It's easily, I
9,
can think
but
of many more before I get to chicken tortilla soup.
Broccoli
It's not a
soup,
good soup.
mushroom
Could've
soup.
thought of-
It's a great soup. I don't know. Look, all
Mushroom
soups
soup's
are not
great.
great soups.
You didn't even say
That's-
chicken noodle. You didn't say
You
cream
did forget
mushroom.
chicken noodle, which is pretty funny. All right, look, the point is, I don't like soup, okay? But I also don't like hot drinks, right? We know this. I don't like coffee. I don't really drink tea. I don't like hot chocolate. So maybe that plays into it because somebody once put it to me. They were like, you don't like soups. And I was like, no. And he's like, well, like, what about like a gazpacho? I'm like, no, that's even grosser. That's like a cold soup. That's like the only thing good about soup is that it's warm. And then he was like, well, do you like smoothies? And I said, well, yeah, I love smoothies. And he goes, isn't that kind of a soup? And then I got
Get out.
thinking, holy if you really think about it, isn't a smoothie just a cold soup in a cup?
So then why
I
is
don't-
chili not a soup?
I think there's an argument there. If smoothies are a soup, I think chili is.
Hold
Although,
on, let
because
me-
chili has like more of the solid stuff, the smoothie is like pureed to a stable
Right.
consistency, where like
Right, it's
chili
like
is
taking
like
fruits
a bunch
or
of solids
vegetables-
all together.
Right. Yes.
Do you eat it with a spoon?
I usually have
Yeah,
it
but
with
ice cream is not a
pasta.
soup.
If it's melted, it is.
Oh yeah, and it's
Just because-
actually really
be-
good when it's like
just
cold.
because
Shit.
of-
Yeah, that's a good
Just
one.
because the form is different doesn't mean
Okay,
it's any.
let's forget chili for a second. Let's focus on smoothies.
Okay.
It's like going back to the whole is a hot dog a sandwich debate. Is this smoothie a soup?
So then is a milkshake a soup?
No, because it
It would
only
have
has
to
like
be
one
following
ingredient.
that logic. No, it has
It
two.
has it's
ice cream and
definitely
milk.
two
Well, yeah, sorry.
plus flavors.
Yeah, so it's a dessert soup.
Ice cream only really has two ingredients too.
Ice and
Ice
cream,
and cream.
Yeah.
sugar.
Okay.
You can say no.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm trying to acknowledge
All
my
right.
own
So
hypocrisy
is-
here because I was like, I don't like soups, but I love smoothies.
I mean, so is anything melted then a soup? Is anything liquid a soup? Is butter a soup? Melted butter?
Yeah,
that you
but
pour on
like,
popcorn a soup?
but there's a difference, right? Because it's not. It's
how you eat
a
it,
liquid
too.
that was made from the solids, I guess. Does a
So
soup
is-
have
so
to
is
be
liquid
cooked?
butter.
Does a soup have to be cooked? Is that part of the definition? Is it a liquid that
Good
you
question.
cook?
I'm trying to think if there's examples where you don't, because like even a cold soup, like a gazpacho,
And you were
is cooked
worried we weren't
first,
going to
right?
have anything to
I don't
talk
think-
about,
I don't
Alex.
think a gazpacho's cooked.
That's what I'm trying to try. I'd never had it because I don't like soup.
I thought a gazpacho was cooked and then cooled.
That's what
be.
I'm asking.
Or it might
It's
just
like
be
cold brew
or it just might be a
or
tomato smoothie.
iced coffee or cold brew. Very
No,
different,
a tomato
very
smoothie is
different.
ketchup.
So it's
No,
ketchup
that's-
soup.
There's not even ketchup's a condiment. Relax. Ketchup's not a meal.
Ketchup
Well,
is a tomato smoothie.
I sometimes have enough
right,
to
it's
make it a
Blended
meal,
up
but-
tomatoes with a little bit of sugar
Is,
in there.
is peanut butter a soup?
No, because again, that's not an entire meal. You don't just get a bowl of peanut butter. Like if you took a smoothie and
does.
poured it into a bowl. What's up,
but
Ben?
a lot of times you don't have soup as a full meal. Hey, bud.
No, like,
Can Ben weigh in on this?
Ben, I got an honest question, buddy. I love you. You are freaking adorable, but where did all your hair go?
Oh
yeah, baby's hair falls out sometimes.
The new ones have to grow in, Uncle James.
It's so funny because
wanna
he had
see-
so much before.
Does-
Now he looks like a baby.
he does
Before he
back
looked
here.
like a little man. Oh, he's got some. He's got a little bit of a skullet going on.
He's got the old man haircut going.
Oh. What's up, buddy?
No, okay, so you do not cook gazpacho, Ben.
Right. I knew that.
I was telling Ben.
Oh.
Okay, so that's still a soup then. So, dude, a smoothie's a soup. A smoothie's a soup. If you put it into a bowl with a spoon, sorry, Ben, I didn't realize your dad didn't have his
Or a
earphones in.
gazpacho is a smoothie.
I do.
Oh, you've won it. Or a gazpacho is a smoothie. That seems weirder to me. But like, if you just
Okay.
took a smoothie out of the blender and poured it into a bowl and ate it with a spoon, are you eating a soup, or are you being a weirdo eating a smoothie out of a bowl with a soup with a spoon?
No, here's where it all changes.
Thank you.
I don't
Give me
think-
something definitive here because I'm losing my mind.
I don't think there's a savory smoothie. A smoothie has a sweet element to it. It could be a very faint sweet element and just it's a banana or an acai berry or a little bit of honey if it's all spinach or something, right? It's got some element of sweet to it. Whereas there's no sweet soups. I mean, a tomato soup is probably your closest thing to a sweet soup, but it's still not served as a sweet item. Whereas a smoothie is sweet.
Okay.
And also, if you're eating soup with a straw, you have mental problems. Unless you're like in a hospital.
There are sweet soups and dessert soups.
Yeah.
In Asian and Scandinavian cultures,
there's not.
they
No
have
one
warm
cares
or
about
chilled.
no one cares about a
dessert
population,
soups.
a tiny little town that has a traditional thing that they make a freaking.
I mean, Asia has a
creme
pretty big
brulee
population,
soup.
but
No, I'm saying it's like some small demographic of people that do
I'm
this
just
weird
kidding.
thing.
Vietnam.
Like, come on.
It's not just a small thing.
all right.
There's
let's just say
Vietnamese
it's not.
have a dessert soup. The Filipinos have a dessert soup. Scandinavians
We've
have a
gone too
dessert
far in
soup.
this fact check. Tim, a staple of this show is we do not fact check. So you're going too far.
Oh no, we don't fact check racing. We fact check dumb
I'm just
stuff.
gonna say I was very caught off guard by the question, and I appreciate there's some hypocrisy on my side. We can all establish, I think we can all agree, soups are not smoothies, smoothies are not soups, but it's a little bit weird that I like one and not the other. Because it's not like I don't like savory stuff. It's not like I've just got a sweet tooth, to use your kind of.
Okay. I think I know what your problem is.
He only has one.
You don't
for this.
You don't like hot liquid.
I don't, but I don't like gazpacho either.
No, I know, but you don't like gazpacho because really no one likes gazpacho. Gazpacho is not good. That's not reason that you don't like soups.
Yeah.
You
that's
don't,
what I was saying.
You don't like hot liquid.
I don't. It's not my jam. Unless
Did
it's
you
a
already
hot
say
toddy.
that?
I do like a hot toddy. We kind of touched on that. I kind of said that was if that was part of because I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea, I don't drink hot chocolate.
Oh,
yeah,
my
okay.
bad. I wasn't listening. Yeah.
That's right. You were picking up, Ben, actually, I think, when we started this.
Okay. Well, anyways, we have 20 minutes left, guys.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But first off, James, what have you been doing travel-wise?
Yeah, so my background's changed again, guys. This podcast was supposed to be recorded from my hotel room in Baku, but an electric change in travel plans meant that rather than leaving Baku at 9:30 p.m. on Monday, I left at 2:20 a.m. Monday. Reason being, the original flight would have got me to Italy, where I am currently, at noon on Tuesday on a red eye with 2 layovers going through Doha and Frankfurt, which seemed like an ill-advised move. Where this one was just 1 layover and was half the length and got me in a full day sooner. Still overnight, but full day sooner was important because later this week, I have to drive a Formula One car. And I figured the earlier I could have my overnight flight, the better, so that I could rest and be prepared to go drive that thing.
And yeah, we kind of alluded to this when you were getting your seat fit, and you and I happened to be in London at the same time. But I don't think we've actually talked about it much. So,
yeah. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
So yeah, it kind of. I mean, it's been out. They announced it, I guess, at some point on F1 TV, but it came out again this weekend because I guess it's coming up, and all of a sudden everybody paid attention. So yeah, guys, I'm getting to do a half day test in a 2-year-old Haas F1 car, which is insane, which is incredible, and which is awesome. And it's all being done as part of a feature for F1 TV. So, I've obviously never raced an F1. I've never had the chance to test an F1 car, unlike my esteemed colleague here, Mr. Rossi. And just being someone that does a lot of work in F1 now, I've been trying to find a way to angle my way into a car for 3.5 years now. And it was always a long shot. It was never something I ever thought I would actually get. I thought maybe at some point someone would offer me the chance to test some vintage F1 car. I could still say I drove an F1 car or whatever. This opportunity came up through a very good friend of mine named Stuart Morrison, who works for Haas. I've known Stu for a long time. And he saw an opportunity through a day that they're doing at this track in Italy called Mugello, which is a bike track primarily, but F1 did race there like once or twice over COVID. And pulled some strings, and I talked to the guys at F1 TV, he talked to the guys at Haas, and we managed to put together a half-day run for me in this thing, which is insane. Like, it's exciting for all the reasons that are obvious, like getting to drive an F1 car. It's not like 5 laps on demo tires. It's like a half day. There's a run plan. It's like a program. We're going to do a bunch of different stuff, which I'm really excited about. But dude, I was thinking about it a little bit, and I've got a feeling that like this has a chance, this has a potential to be the fastest era of Formula One in history. Because the amount of downforce they generate now is insane. The combustion engine, hybrid engine combo is like 1,000 horsepower. It's a ton of power. And the 2026 regs are very different. Faster in a straight line, way slower in the corners, probably going to be slower over a lap. In 2030, when they go back to V8s, the cars are going to be smaller, probably less aero, and probably not as much downforce. So there's a chance that this is like at least the highest downforce, the highest cornering speeds kind of F1 car that there will ever be. And getting to test one of these in like a relatively current spec is a pretty cool proposition.
Yeah, but here's what's so cool about F1 cars and what you're going to realize the moment you leave the garage for the first time. And I want you to think about me telling you this because when you do it, you're going to be like, oh, I get it now. It doesn't matter if it's the current spec, 2 years old, this generation, last generation, the future generation. I think you're right. Like, you're definitely driving probably what will be the quickest, but even driving the absolute heaps of that I was fortunate enough to race, it still was the greatest piece of machinery I've ever driven.
Yeah.
And it's just, and so like, I'm just happy for you that you get to tick that box because you can hear about it, and you are very intellectual, obviously, and you've been around racing for a very long time. So you understand like what the capabilities are. But until you actually sit in the thing for the first time and you actually go do a day, it's just cool. You just can't help but have a smile on your face because it's like everything that you've been chasing as a professional race car driver, it finally happens. You finally can come in and they're like, how's the balance? And you're like, good.
It's good.
What do you need?
More talent.
Tires. Just I need to be better.
Yeah. You tell me. What do I need? What do I need to do better?
Yeah. It's really, really cool. So I'm pumped for you, man.
Excited,
That's awesome.
It's like,
and fingers crossed the weather's good.
The region at the moment is not the greatest forecast, but I think it's one of those things where like it's going to rain at some point in the day. I just hope it's the afternoon and not the morning, or I hope it's like overnight and my 4 hours of running is relatively fine. Because the other thing is it's at Mugello, which is hilarious because all the guys that I was talking to about this, they're like, oh man, when we raced there in 20 or 21, they're like, my neck's never been so sore. And these guys are like career F1 drivers. And it's like, why is this the first place? Like, I've not driven an open wheel car in anger since 2021. I've been doing what I can in the gym, but as you know, there's nothing you can do in the gym that makes your neck ready for even an Indy car.
But honestly, bro, I wouldn't worry about it because you could be at freaking Monza and your neck would be screwed. So it doesn't matter. So
it'd be less screwed at Monza than it will be at Mugello, but
sure wouldn't. Nope.
Well, it's still the braking, right?
I disagree.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can do that will get you ready for it because it just is going to kick your ass.
So I'm just going to pad it up.
That's
I've been
part of
working really hard
the
on
coolness of it.
Right. I've been working really hard on like the longitudinal element of my neck training because you can't stop your head from like looking down. I can put pads on the side so laterally you can have some help. But like if you just hit the brakes and I'm 100% doing that. Absolutely. I'm not.
Don't do that.
No, I'm not too proud to be like, no, I don't need a pad. I need a pad. I need a pad. I'm going to pad it. Dude, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will be padding 1000%. So disappointed. Oh, that's devastating. You're the only one. Everyone else is like, dude, totally pad up. Like, don't even try. Oh, come on. Either way, it's going to be great. It's going to be a fun feature on F1 TV. So sign up for that if you don't already.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's why we're in Elite. And then, yeah.
So last question I have on that, like, obviously 2 years ago, these cars are pretty advanced. Like, how has your homework and preparation and such been going into this whole
So I got given
situation?
a pamphlet, a notebook, a document, as you would imagine.
Was it, is it as cool by chance as what I had with Penske and
No.
Acura with the DPI
No.
car with like a,
No.
bummer.
There's not an iPad with like tests and animated steering wheel. But no.
Yeah.
It's actually surprisingly straightforward for how complex the cars are because they've automated so much of it, right? And I'm obviously not going to be like tuning the thing to the nth degree of its life. I know the basics. You
should definitely dick around with the diff.
Yeah,
because
I'm going to
cool.
mess around with that. That's just the fact that you can do that on the flip of a rotary is incredible.
Yeah. And then you'll have to chase some brake balance stuff for sure.
Yeah. So that stuff I'm excited to just try. And then like the other thing is like understanding the recharge and deployment, because obviously it's quite a bit different than the IndyCar system. You know, you can burn it all over a lap to maximize a single lap. You can do it so that it burns. It regens exactly as much as it burns, and you kind of keep the battery at a certain state. So if you ever need like it for over, so just kind of learning a little bit more about how those systems work. Because even after the race in Baku, you know, talking to some of the guys in the post-race show, they were talking about energy management and how like, oh yeah, this guy got by me because I didn't have enough energy at this point or whatever. Like it's a pretty big part of F1 racing right now is drivers being smart with their energy management. So yeah, just learning about that stuff. And that's the whole point of this, right? Like
you mean everything that IndyCar hybrid should have been?
Correct. So a huge part of this is so that I have a better understanding of what the drivers are going through. As a quote unquote driver analyst in F1, the more I can understand about what the drivers are going through and what they're dealing with and you know, what tools they have at their disposal, the better I can do my job. So that was a big part of the push, and F1 TV bought it, suckers, and Haas bought it, suckers. And no, I'm kidding. It's gonna be great. I'm really, really excited. Really, really excited. I just hope the weather holds out. So everybody do an anti-rain dance for Friday. That would be greatly appreciated. And watch this space for more updates. But
Can't wait,
speaking
man.
of F1, while we're there, the race is on the weekend. Did you watch anything? Ben, did you watch? Were you watching with Daddy?
I watched the last 14 laps, which is all I needed to see.
Did you watch qualifying? Because the race was actually quite dull. Qualifying was insane.
I fast forwarded through qualifying, so I saw the key moments. Yes.
Well, yeah. So you fast forwarded the hour of filling that we had to do because of the 6 red flags. Yes.
Correct.
I think it's important. I didn't like how many memes and stuff afterwards were talking about like I saw this one tweet, of course, that summed it up in the most dramatic way, which was, after watching that, I never want to hear anybody say these are the 20 best drivers in the world ever again. And it's like, okay, first of all, we all acknowledge there's a lot of very good drivers that aren't in Formula One. But your insinuation is that these guys aren't that good, and that's why there were so many accidents. It's like, dude, trying to understand what driving a car like that around a track like that with 30-mile-an-hour gusts of wind is like, it's so infuriating hearing people try to Monday morning quarterback that stuff. I mean, it was hard. Like, you were standing in pit lane, you could feel the gust. Like, imagine going into turn 1 at Baku, 340 kilometers an hour, and then right before you hit the brakes, there's just a 30-mile-an-hour tailwind gust. Nobody's making that corner.
Nope. No. I watched the onboards. I never got to race there, but I watched the onboards from these guys, and it's just like I don't understand how they make it through a third of the corners.
Yeah.
Like, it is so tight, but it's so quick and committed at the same time.
That castle section is insane.
It's ridiculous, man. So once again, like the internet's full of a bunch of idiots. But I wouldn't have even thought that as like that wouldn't even be something that came to mind is like, oh, I can't believe these guys suck so much. There were so many red flags. Like the first thing that would come to my mind, and I'm pretty judgmental. The first thing that come to my mind is like, it's hard. And like when you have sprinkles of rain as well, like people forget that you're on like slick tires and they don't do well with any sort of moisture whatsoever. And you're driving a race car at 160 miles an hour, 3 inches from a wall. It's pretty easy to have a little mistake and to put in the tires. I will say it is surprising to see, and this is just a affirmation of how difficult it is, because how often do you see Oscar Piastri make a mistake? How often do you see Charles make a mistake, especially at Baku? Like that's kind of his backyard in terms of what the successful run that he's been on lately.
Yeah, in qualifying, he had like a 15-mile-an-hour tailwind, which is not nothing. So that contributed to that. The race, he just made a mistake on the start and then kind of just made a misjudgment, I think, on the actual lap where he went out. But those things compound a little bit. The McLarens did not have the... Look, the race was supposed to be, it was expected to be a lot sportier with all those cars out of position, but it was just so hard to race because there was no deg. So everybody could just cruise around, hit a lap time, go faster as the fuel burned off, and there was no real opportunity for people to pass. What's crazy to me is you can have a 2-kilometer long straight with a DRS zone, and still it's impossible to pass. So like the DRS zone there is clearly not big enough.
Let's fast forward, or I don't know. Let's fast forward to that part of the race. Well, okay, no, let's do a quick summary of qualifying. So Max curb stomped everyone. A lot of quick cars that were in contention were not in contention because they had 3 corners on them. It was also a very disrupted session with all of the reds, as we said, but Max, as he does, capitalized when everyone else can't. Carlos Sainz starting on the front row with him. Incredible. Liam Lawson starting third, right? Was a huge result for him, especially in a time where he's under serious pressure to continue having a career in Formula One. And I would say those were the high. Oh, the other thing that was very surprising and disappointing for me in some ways. So Piastri crashed in Q3. He had put a lap time on the board. So he was only going to be 9th. Is that correct? Did he start 9th?
Yes. Because Leclerc already crashed before that, yeah.
And I was expecting, all right, this is Lando's shot. You know, he's miles back in the championship at this point. His teammates out in qualifying, his biggest threat, like he needs to start at least on the front row. Like, okay, he might not be Max, but he's got the tools to start on the front row. And he only qualified 7th. So already there, you know, Oscar was breathing a sigh of relief that Lando hadn't capitalized more on Saturday when he was a bystander watching at that point. Yes,
it's an interesting point. I mean, part of me, and I kind of made this argument in the post show that I don't think the McLaren was that good in those conditions, right? What McLaren has been so good at this year is managing tires, and that comes into play when there's deg and it's hot, and there's no deg and it was cool. So I don't think they had the massive advantage. He did make a mistake on his qualifying lap. So like, yes, he did not maximize Q3. I don't think he was going to, even if he hadn't brushed the wall, he wasn't going to be Max's pace. He wasn't going to be Carlos's pace. But I don't think the McLaren was actually as strong in those conditions.
He led P3 though, bro, which was that morning. Yeah. So I don't know that I agree with that.
It definitely got a lot cooler in qualifying. Okay. But yes, no, he did not maximize. Okay. He did not maximize. That is true. That is true. So then we go to the race. And everyone's expecting all the cars out of position, both McLarens, both Ferraris, to make headway. And the other cars conversely out of position, the Sainz and the Lawsons of the world, to maybe fall back a little bit. Not exactly how it happened. Max, again, stormed everybody and made it look easy, as Max does. George Russell, your favorite, actually drove a really good race. Sick all weekend. Did a great job. I hate to say it. I don't want to upset you, but he did a good job. But how about Carlos Sainz?
Credit where credit's due. Credit where credit's due. Carlos Sainz, man, I'm happy for him. You know, it was one of those weird situations. Very willpower and Penske-esque in the sense that, well, I guess the one difference is Carlos was replaced by Lewis Hamilton and Will was replaced by David Malukas. But still, someone who is doing a very good job for the team that they're driving for, is well liked amongst the team, is competitive with his superstar teammate in Charles. Charles loves him. Carlos they're doing nothing wrong, and really elevating the team when he can and has the opportunity, and challenging for race wins and backing up Charles and all this sort of thing. And he gets replaced by somebody who ultimately, once, as we've seen this year, once that somebody is in the car, isn't doing as good of a job as Carlos had done. And I think, especially for Carlos having to take such a far step down in the team that he ended up for in Williams this year. Now, Williams is obviously exceptionally better than they have been over the past 3 years, but still, you're going from Ferrari to Williams. You're not going from Ferrari to Mercedes or Ferrari to McLaren or whatever, right? And so for him to have to come to terms with that and realize that he's going to be a part of a rebuilding process and a rebuilding program, which has a lot of upside to it and has a huge amount of benefits to it. And clearly he's with a team that supports him massively and loves that he's a part of it. So it's a good environment for him to be in, but still, as a racing driver, James, it's a tough pill to swallow, especially, as I kind of mentioned, when the guy that replaced you isn't really doing a better job than you were. So for him to go out, for him to execute in qualifying and be out of position and still come away with a podium, still have hardware, you could hear it in his voice after the race. He said, he said back to his team, he said, you don't even understand what this means to me. This is the best moment in my career. And that just goes to show you, this is a multi-time race winner, right? This goes to show you how challenging it's been and how much that was needed. And that was really, really cool to see.
I completely agree. I mean, it was amazing to see. It was amazing to see his faith in Williams be repaid. It was amazing to see James Vowles and Williams' faith in him be repaid. Crazy to think that he got a podium before Hamilton did for Ferrari. He's got a podium. Albon does not have a podium for Williams. So in so many ways, I completely understand why that was such a special moment for him. And yeah, you could see it in his face, you could hear it in his voice. You saw the crew in Parc Fermé just like losing their mind. Before the car even got there, his manager, who's also his cousin, was sitting there just like screaming to himself, like, like he kept just like looking down and be like, yeah, he just couldn't believe that it had happened. There's probably a massive podium bonus in that too, but whatever. But no, it was great, man. It was great. And like what I really like about it though, in all honesty, is neither Carlos nor Vowles are sitting there being like, oh yeah, Williams is back. We're gonna be on the podium every race the rest of the year. They completely understand the situation. They are patting themselves on the back for executing brilliantly when those opportunities present themselves, which is what you always have to do in this sport, especially in F1 when you're a midfield team. And they're like, yeah, the next couple races might be challenging. We got 1 or 2 tracks left we think we can be strong at, maybe 5th, 6th place. But like this was huge for everybody. And it was awesome. So Max was great. George was great. He was great. Lewis actually had kind of a good race compared to everybody else. Like he actually moved up a couple spots where no one else really did. And that was sort of Baku.
And then, I mean, the only other thing we got to touch on is so Oscar goes out. And again, golden opportunity for Lando to capitalize. And he was out of position for sure. I mean, you might say that their car wasn't super suited to the tracking conditions, which might be fair, but still, I mean, in a McLaren in 7th, he was out of position. And he had a really bad stop on his last stop, which I think ultimately cost him 2 spots. I think he should have been able to beat Lawson and Tsunoda, and maybe even had a run at Antonelli, who was in 4th, and McLaren just let him down in pit lane again. So, I mean, that could have been a big swing for Orlando, and for whatever reason, it wasn't again, and it's just shaping up to be one of those situations where it might not be his year. I mean, there's still quite a few races left, but I mean, it seems to be compounding a little bit at this point, especially when you think about Oscar had a big old goose egg, and Lando can't close the gap that much.
That's one of those things, right, where on the race where Lando has the DNF in Zandvoort, the McLarens are stout, they're 1-2, so Oscar wins the race. On a race where both were struggling, both struggled in qualifying, both started out of position, Oscar has his problem, but it's not like it's a track where they had that massive advantage and Lando could just like bag the win and close up 25 points. So now the gap is 25 points, which is exactly the number of points that Oscar got over Lando when his car failed him Oscar's issue this weekend was a DNF, but it was not a mechanical failure. This was a driver mistake. So now is when people can start doing the woulda, coulda, shoulda math in their heads. Again, still a lot of race. I mean, Oscar might still beat him by 50 points, and so it's moot. But if they stay tight, there's gonna be a lot of people that are playing that game. But that's racing, right? There's something you can do about that. The team let him down. There's no doubt about it. He let the team down in Canada and gave away points there. So that's part of racing being a team sport at the end of the day, right?
Good point.
Liam Lawson got his best finish, doing a good job. Kimi Antonelli, off the back of being told he was underwhelming in Monza, outqualifies George Russell and finishes fourth. Not bad. We'll see if he can continue that sort of form. And I guess we'll cover National next week. Oh, wait, you mentioned him. We should touch on Lil Dave signing with Penske. Not that it's a shock. Everybody kind of saw it coming, but it's now official. And yeah, man, time to step up into the big leagues. That's a crazy kind of moment for him.
Listen, we've shared our thoughts and opinions on it because it is not a surprise to anyone. It was a very poorly kept secret. I don't even know if it was tried to be a secret, to be fair, with how many people knew about it. So we should hold all future opinions and comments until this time next year. But I think an interesting nugget that has come out of this whole situation, and James, you being who you are with, understanding the ins and outs of the various sides of the sport at this point, and always having a voice for the drivers. And you've been very vocal about contracts and how they need to be honored and all this sort of thing in the past, usually on the team side, 2 drivers in terms of compensation and letting them see out the term of what their contract was signed for. Where do you stand on this situation where Penske is holding Will to the term of his contract and not releasing him early and not allowing him to get to work with Andretti until his term is over? Well,
you phrased that in a very specific way, Alex, which makes me think that your opinion is contracts are contracts. You signed it, you know it, and tough. Which fundamentally, that is a philosophy I do subscribe to. Not sort of, I do subscribe to that. I think that if 2 parties are in agreement, there's opportunities and situations where it is appropriate for concessions to be made. Where this one for me gets a little bit tricky is by Penske not allowing. So Power's contract goes until December 31st, right? And there is a test at Indy on October somethings. And when Andretti has requested Will's services, Penske has flat denied them. This is not like or is he like, it was, the request was made, the request was denied. At that point, I would imagine, so have you ever, let me ask you this. Have you ever signed a contract that was termed through the end of the race season rather than the end of the calendar year?
I've done both.
Okay. Would you say that, rightly or wrongly, it's more often done through the calendar year?
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of industry standard that's how they do it.
I've only had one that was through the race year.
Right.
The rest were all through calendar year. Yes.
Right. So it's much more typical if that's the case. It's sort of understood that once the race season's over, if you're not going back to the team, your job there is kind of done. Now, if there's a situation where there was some previous sponsor commitments that you still had to fulfill, fine. I totally get that. That's totally fair. In a situation where there's no sponsor commitments to fulfill and nobody is I imagine Malukas' contract with Foyt was through the calendar year. Let's ignore for a second the fact that Penske was paying for that deal and just, it seems to me that it in no way hurts Penske to release Will.
Sure it does.
No.
Sure it does.
It benefits another team. That doesn't hurt his team. There's a difference.
Yeah, but they're competitors.
Yeah.
So anything that benefits a competitor but hurts you.
Correct.
Okay, Alex, real talk. By getting 1 day in the car at Indy in October, at the track that you get 48 hours of practice in come April and May, is 1 day in October going to set Will up for so much success at the Indy 500 that you as a competing team owner would be like, yeah, I'm worried about that.
James, you mean the one track where finite details matter, the one track that you spend the most amount of time preparing for on the track, off the track, in the wind tunnel, Okay. You're getting a guy who has just recently been with the team that, in all honesty, should have locked out the front row the past 2 years, but for various reasons that we all know, did not, and had a massive influx of information from a certain engineer that improved their speed dramatically overnight, seemingly. Okay. You bring that person to the October test to allow them to start running through certain things to give you an off-season project and areas to focus on. I think there's a benefit to that. Now, that being said, he's just a driver, and him getting in the car
if we're talking
and doing
engineers,
X, Y.
different conversation.
Here's my point: this is further reinforcing the fact that Will told them no, because I believe you. If the way they handled this situation and everything, and not saying they handled it wrongly, but just in terms of the human element of willpower and what he's done for that organization, and the fact that he was still doing a good job, and all of this stuff, and to be strung along as we've talked about. And if then they said, all right, we're done, thank you, but no thank you, I could see them having the sympathy of being like, all right, go get to work and go do your new thing. It now convinces me that they were like, we need you to stay, please stay. And he was like, no, get effed. And now they're like, oh, okay, well, you're not driving your car until January 1 then. I mean, that's just an assumption. That's just, I'm theorizing, but I don't know.
Yep. And you can argue that's why he's won 1 million championships and 1,500,000s, and that's the kind of mindset that you need.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's
I saw something on Twitter saying that he should still just show up to Penske headquarters, just grab coffee and just like chat with people in the break room.
Here's the thing. Do I think it's going to negatively affect Will's preparation for Indy next year or Andretti's preparation for next year? I don't. Is it a big deal? No, it's not. But that's why it seems unnecessary to hold him back, right? If it was kind of industry standard to hold him back or to like not let people do that, and they didn't let him do it, and it's like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. But like, you know, Ed Carpenter let Renus go, and Renus was allowed to do the December or the October test with Coyne, and that led to him getting a new job. It's kind of just much more common to let it happen. But you're right. Maybe it was a function of Will telling them no and them wanting to just make a point.
We'll never know. Or maybe we will, since we're a breaking news podcast now.
Yeah, news is fun. Hopefully we have some next week to talk about after we recap Nashville.
This has been Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. Off Track is part of the SiriusXM Sports Podcast Network. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please give a 5-star rating and leave a review. Subscribe today wherever you stream your podcasts. We are at Ask Off Track on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Hinchtown and at Alexander Rossi. If you want to follow Tim, though we have no idea why you would, he's at the Tim Durham on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for exclusive video content. Off Track is produced by Tim Durham, and by that we mean Tim.